Hi, everyone, and welcome to our final event in the ICW, the International Coaching Week at the ICF Saudi chapter. And the theme for the week was Coaching Horizons 2025 Legacy, Innovation, and Impact. Without further ado, I would love to introduce our VP, Haytham Al-Masri, who would like to share a little bit of our vision and mission and share a speech today. The mic over to you.
Thank you, Rasha. It will not be a speech, it's just welcoming to everyone. And frankly speaking, if I would start these closing remarks of the week, I'm honored and pleasure to have our guest of honor today, Lauren, Jihane, Lynn, and Lola. The best closure of the best week of the year with a lot of experience. And I have to extend my gratitude to our team on the backstage for the events that happen on a daily basis from ICF Saudi chapter. There are a lot of effort happen. Rasha, Afaf, Lina, Abdurrahman, Nada, and Walid did a great job. So please share with me the high applause for them for their effort during this this week. And this is extend our commitment for striving our community and a lot of soldiers on behind as well. In ICF Saudi chapter, we care about being a catalyst for our thriving community thriving. We dedicate our effort to do this, either for the activity or the coming efforts that we will conduct for the regional conference shortly. But here that this is our commitment and this is our effort. It's an enjoyable effort, but it deserves. Without any delay to move forward, this is the time to learn from all our guest speaker today. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for your feedback and your attendance. The last recognition for our audience and participant. I see a lot of faces many times this week, maybe before 1 hour from now, that give this commitment as well. It's not only for the ICF Saudi chapter and not only for the board, it across the plus 50,000 coaches across the world. Thank you again for being with us. I will get back to Rasha to introduce our guest speaker and enjoy as a participant for this great closure of this great week. Thank you, and back to you, Rasha.
Thank you, Dr. Haytham. I really enjoyed it. It's really inspiring to see all the efforts that we're doing together in order to have this come through. And thank you again for the support as usual. So, without further ado, let's start our session for today. From the board today, I am Rasha Alajouz, the membership director, and I also have a supporter today, which is Dina. Dina from my team, inshallah, will be supporting on the chat if anyone needs anything. So thank you so much, Dina, as well. And so let's say tonight we were gonna unpack the soul of coaching, why we are staying in this industry, how we are gonna grow, and how coaching will be evolving in today's world. And a little bit of instructions before we start. Please keep your microphone muted at all times. And if you need any question, please put them in the chat box and Dina will attend to that, inshallah. And in order to receive your CCE certificate of the education hours, I would like you to do two things. Please first remain in the session until the end. That would be great. And please make sure that your name appears correctly as the name you used in the registration form through the ICF platform. Whether it was in Arabic or English, it does not matter. As long as it's the same, we will find you and we will give you the certificate. So today, sharing the journey, a global dialogue with MCCs. We'll hear raw stories of doubt and triumph, practical insights, and maybe, just maybe, a few words today will shift something inside of you. So, and I will start introducing them, but in a different way. Let's see how this will go. Okay. So it's gonna be like a 20-second game. Are you ready? Is everyone ready? So a 20-second game, I will be saying a few words and then you will pick from the picture. Just let me know which one. Do you think that this is the one that matches the description? So, are you ready to start? Okay. So, this person has traveled to 51 countries across the globe. Speaks English, Spanish fluently with low intermediate French. She knows phrases in about 10 other languages. She played saxophone as a child. She lived in 5 different countries. Who do you think? Guess. Who do you think is the person? I'm not going to use pronouns, so you will identify them quickly. Okay, someone says Len, Dr. Claire, Len, Jihane. Okay, who else? Len, Lola, Lynn Skotnitsky. Okay, Len, Dr. Claire. Okay, Lola. So let's see the right answer. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, no. Oh, yes, that's the right answer. Okay, so it's Lynn. Lynn is that person. So she traveled to 51 countries. She knows English and Spanish. She plays saxophone as a child, and she lived in 5 different countries. Okay, so let's see the next one. So she's a former senior magistrate who retired after 10 years. She volunteered as a teacher with refugee children for 6 years. She works with individuals and organizations from Europe, Asia, and the US. She's an avid reader. She holds a master in consulting and coaching, and she also she co-wrote the NC Global Career Coaching Alumni Playbook. Who is that person? Lola, Jihane, Lola. Okay, Lola. Okay, Lola, Dr. Claire. Okay, so let's see the right answer. So it's Lola Chetti, yay! So yes, she's the former senior manager. She went from the judging system into coaching, and we will know more about her today. Okay, so let's use the next one. So travel to Austria, France, UK, Canada, New Zealand, Zimbabwe, and Seychelles and Mauritius. Former practicing attorney and managing partner. He's like a bookworm or something. He has favorite bookstores where people know his name or their name. Enjoy YouTube, and he coaching leaders from everywhere in the world. Sorry, I think I gave him out. Okay, perfect. At least you got an easy answer now. Lauren, perfect. Yes, and that means that you're good listeners. If you didn't listen to me, you couldn't have got that. So that's great. You're good listeners. Bravo. Yeah, Lauron Buys. Okay, so let's see. Lauron Buys. Okay, that's the last one. It's typically, this one. So she founded coaching chapters across the Middle East, and she holds a doctorate in cross-cultural leadership and award-winning for team coaching. She leads a team of 10 master certified coaches, delivers accredited coaching training in numerous language trailblazing across the Middle East. So yes, she's Dr. Claire, of course. And I really gave you the answer as well. So let's make it an easy game, Perfect. Perfect. Okay, then see the last one. Could you guess who's the last one? Could you guess? Okay, so I'm gonna say, and of course you should guess by now, she's pursuing doctoral studies in education and AI, speaks 3 languages fluently, enjoys hiking and exploring nature, has 15 years of volunteer service with the ICF, former marketing executive in multinational companies, blends system thinking and intercultural intelligence in coaching approach. Who is that one? It's a hard guess. Okay, so this is Jihane Labib. Yes, and I really appreciate each and every one of the MCCs today with us. Really happy to be your host for today. Okay, so let's start our panel discussion then. So Now that we kick things off with some fun, it's time to meet our incredible panelists. So, Lauren, I would like to start with you first. Where did it all begin for you?
I was hoping that it would be a ladies first thing, but it probably is my father's fault. He's not around anymore, so he can't refute that. He was a teacher, and so I grew up in a home that was full of teaching values. And one of his big sayings was, "The child is the barometer." And later, when you heard that I was a lawyer. No one's perfect, so I was a lawyer. And during that time, I got into various leadership roles, and became quite fixated with learning about leadership. I really enjoyed the academic side of leadership and the application of it. And so, yeah, I think the next step was I came across this article in a magazine about coaching, and I'd never seen this before, except I knew coaching from sporting days. And when I looked at it, I thought that looks like what I was trying to do as a leader. So I did the course, and that was in August 2001, and from the end of that course, I became a full-time coach, and here I am today. So that was my journey.
Yeah, inspiring. Yeah, well, a wonderful journey indeed. So, since you mentioned you're a lawyer and we also have a judge here, a pre-judge here. So, Lola,
A magistrate,
share-
yes.
a magistrate. Okay, so okay, a magistrate. So, what's the difference? I'm really curious. What happened there, and why did you leave this courtroom into coaching, and how did this? How was that for you?
Oh, it absolutely informs my coaching journey. When I was at the bench, there was something that which really, I think before I didn't really realize this, but it really stuck to me, that not everyone is born with the same advantages and the same resources. And it definitely has an absolute impact on how people's life unfold. And when I left the magistracy, and I had already started there, I wanted to invest in social work, but I didn't really know how to do that. When I got to Malaysia, there was a refugee center. Then there were lots of Chin refugees walking in from Myanmar across Thailand. And I volunteered twice a week to teach the kids, and they didn't speak English at all. It was a pretty tough situation. And I became a volunteer, and I stayed for 6.5 years. And I was feeding the kids and teaching them English. But I realized that no matter, I managed to get computers from a client, and I got them shiny, lovely copybooks and pencils. I realized that they were very demotivated. And I thought, certainly they had such, and I wasn't a trauma-informed coach at all. So what I wanted to do is to find a way to let them really have some respite, but also be able to see a future ahead. And then I had no idea of coaching. I mean, very limited. And I started reading up, and I saw that coaching, like Lauren said, is a vehicle for self-leadership first. It is a vehicle for leadership, but above all, self-leadership. So what I did is I learned coaching. I started coaching in parallel, and I could see results immediately. And actually, funnily, my kids are now in their 30s, and a good number of them resettled to the US in Indiana, and some of them in Australia. And they find me on Facebook, and they speak to me about this journey. So it's really, and it informs, and that's why I chose ethics as well. It really informs that coaching basically was a big humbling lesson for myself. It showed me my blind spots as well. And it showed me that you could be doing any kind of executive coaching. And at that time, having a global career was far from my mind. It was really about learning about yourself. And that's why I went to do a master's degree in psychodynamic coaching and specialization in psychodynamics and leadership. So this is what really how my journey in coaching became, never knowing that this was going to be my career. Thank you.
Thank you. So it's never knowing, and this place when you never know, but you also move forward towards your values. That's what's really important here. Yeah. Thank you, Lola. So going from that into since you mentioned self-leadership and following your values, Jihane, I'm really curious also to know. Of course, through the journey, you've managed to gain some skills. One of them was the hardest for you, and one of them that might come for you as an easy thing. So how did coaching serve you best in your journey?
Well, for me, coaching was kind of a dream. Before I discovered it in 2006, it was in Morocco. That time I was watching documentary, and it was kind of, oh, what is this about? And the person who was presenting it was psychologist, and I remember it was like flashback of a dream I had when I was a child, and before entering into the corporate world. This dream I wanted to be like my uncle. It's my mentor. He's one of the first psychoanalysts in Africa, and who I was like watching at him, and he could sit with people, listen deeply, and guide them through profound transformation. And it was really captivated. But yeah, when I had to decide which orientation, it was no. So I did business. And yeah, life took different path, and I have this used to work with multinationals, a lot of objectives, goals, marketing stuff, and numbers. And one day we went through big organization merging, and we discovered again the coaching organization, and I was in touch of some projects, and here it was rediscovering the dream. And yes, this connection, and I started to ask the big question, the why questions. Went, I think, through also a lot of stress because of the big project that we handled. Stress, silent struggles, and here I discovered my big why and my goal, and it was the alignment. And here I discovered coaching, and this space where my mind and my passion for deep transformative work were intersect. And coaching that time allowed me to bring the same deep depth of connection and insight I admired in my uncle's work, but within the context of leadership and organizational growth. So that was the link. Yeah, and after in 2012, I quit. I quit my salary job. I was marketing director. And I remember my parents they were really stressed, and they found the Coaching Lab Academy. I was entrepreneur. In that time, we didn't hear about the entrepreneurship like we did now in the Arab world, in Africa. And it was challenging. And for me, it was the opportunity to realize my dream, to work with passion, and to really connect my passion with the heart, with really purpose-driven work.
You know what I like the most of what you said is that this image of connecting the heart, the mind, and saying yes to things, saying no to other things according to your values, your why.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
yeah, and the hardest thing was like it's not fight, but to face a lot of people, face parents, the environment, the society, and to say I'm believing in it, and yeah, I'm believing in this. It's new profession. It's gonna be the game changer. I had the vision, and I believe it's true. It's become true.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing
Welcome.
this vision.
Welcome.
Thank you. So going to Lynn now, you know, I'm also curious, were there some moments of the yes, the moment you said yes to things and things that you said no to in your coaching journey?
Wow. That's a profound question. So many yeses. I'm trying to identify a no. What were some of the things I said yes to? Well, it's funny when I think about my own journey, and I'm really appreciating hearing everyone's stories, and they get the wheels turning for me too. You know, my road started young with my grandmother was a teacher, passionate about learning, and she happened to be my grade 1 teacher, and her best friend was the principal of the school I went to. And these two ladies really were the most amazing mentors in my life, and they really instilled this passion for learning my whole life long. And so, you know, I felt like they set such a foundation in me. And then, you know, as I grew, my family was traveling when I was young, and we had this experience in Mexico where our truck broke down and we were stuck on a sidewalk and it was really hot. And right next door was a little humble home with a tin roof. And there was a big lemon tree there. And I said, "Look, Mom, lemons." It was the first time I'd ever seen lemons on a tree. And the man in the yard must have heard me all excited, and he invited us over, and they served us lemonade and set us under the shade of that tree while we waited for our truck to be fixed. And, you know, at that point, my family, we didn't speak Spanish. He spoke a little bit of English. It was mostly charades, but I was so excited and, you know, engaged. And he saw my enthusiasm and he invited me into their house. And he taught me the days of the week and the months of the year from the calendar that was on the wall beside the fridge. And it sounds like a mundane thing, but there was something about the way that man listened to me and the presence that he held. And I felt myself just blossoming. And it really set a tone for the rest of my life of a passion for diversity, for intercultural communications and explorations and travel. And eventually that led me into coaching. And so, you know, I just kept saying yes to learning opportunities that kept unfolding. And somewhere along the line, I learned to ask the question, what is wanting to happen now? What does life want from me right now? Where do I need to step up? And I just kept following the crumbs through the bread, through the forest, so to speak. And yes, there have been many intentions and plans, but a lot of them have gone sideways because life was happening in some other way. But I think the guiding thread for me has really always been about a passion for human diversity and a deep, deep desire, a vision for a world where everybody gets to thrive on their terms and contribute from their unique configuration of gifts. So I find that my passion is helping people find their, you know, call their gifts out of exile, so to speak, and really step into their leadership. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's really lovely, you know, really lovely, taking us through the journey, through the Mexico into the yeses. And I like the image of the lemon, you know, the lemon on the trees. Yeah. So thank you for sharing that. So thinking of this and what you've said, mentioned right now, I'm really curious to ask Claire now. So there were more moments for you that called you into this journey? What made you say that this is the journey I want to take? Especially that you are not only an MCC now, you're also preparing coaches to become MCC themselves. So what called you in to coaching?
So always interesting in these discussions because there's a little bit of what's been said here and a little bit of what's been said here. So initially I was a teacher of children with learning difficulties, mild learning difficulties and associated behavioural problems. And so way back then, I learned from mentors and, you know, other more experienced teachers that with children with behavioural problems, coaching worked so much more than telling. And of course, I didn't have my own children then. And so then moving into different parts of education, I was guidance counsellor in a school in the Middle East where it was university applications and, you know, career development. And I did a postgrad in what was guidance and counselling in learning. But I was reading and hearing so much about coaching that it just made sense that some of these models could also be used, but in a coaching style where we're encouraging, you know, the deepening understanding with the more open questions. An example of that is, I'm thinking of one particular student, oh gosh, way back, and talking to them about what are you considering for, you know, post 18 in terms of course and careers. And it was a very straight answer, accounting. And then going into the why, because my dad is and he feels that I should be and my uncle was and so that's me. And the body language just felt so much in a box. And then by asking, and all things being equal, you know, forget the money or, you know, the amount of years to study or even no study at all things being equal, what do you really want to do with your life? You know, that big juicy question, almost existential life purpose question. And what came then was, I love art. I just want to be an artist and enable others to appreciate the beauty of what can come from that type of experience. And, you know, hearing this answer and this answer, it's just like, wow, coaching, it really does work because you get underneath the iceberg. So that was one experience. And then, you know, over the years, I moved into lecturing, MBA lecturing and supporting career development there, but then into internal in organizations and team coaching and board coaching. And again, going to those types of questions that shake things up, you know, that are a little bit edgy, where the team need to go and not necessarily where they want to go. And yet the hearing of appreciation afterwards for the fact that it was enabling them to be brave and address the things that really needed talking around in the room. And so there's off the top of my head just two examples of what reiterated to me how powerful coaching can be.
Indeed. You know, and that's really incredible, you know, hearing each one of your stories. It shows how incredible, the incredible depths that there were in the journey that you've taken. And maybe that's why we called it the panel discussion today is sharing the journey. Because, you know, it's not about a perfect path. It's about a meaningful one. So thank you all for sharing your beginnings. And I would like to ask the audience now a question, a coaching question. So where do you want to go from here in the conversation? Do you like me to ask them a little bit of their expertise? A yes or a no? A little bit of engagement with the audience? Yes, 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 or no, no, no. Challenges? Okay, yes, yes, yes. It's a yes or a no. Okay, yes, okay, perfect. So now getting into your expertise, because I know that all of you have a very extensive experience. So let's start with AI, you know, the trendy topic that everyone is listening, talking about. So with AI, I would like to ask a question for both Lauron and Jihane. Lauron first, I see that you've done like a coaching bot or AI bot. What's that about? And does it really serve something in the coaching process? I'm really curious because I know nothing about it, and I think also the audience would love to hear about it as well.
Yeah, so it's a bit premature. I launched 2 AI bots last Monday. They have been trained by me, so they have all the ChatGPT stuff, but they also, there's an area where they rely on what I've fed it and trained it in. So, and largely it sounds a bit like me, but I'm going to be fine-tuning it as we go. So I'd like to take a step back. My journey towards AI, I think, kind of started off and the debate's still going on about is AI going to take my job? And I thought, no. My answer to that was, I need to stay ahead of AI, even if it's just ahead, even if it's just my head. And that moved into how can I use AI to complement what I do? And so there are a whole lot of AI agents, Calendly, what are the other ones? Zapier and things like that we can use to complement what we do as coaches. But then I moved into, I heard a webinar by Professor Peter Hawkins. Some of you might know Peter, systemic team coaching and systemic coaching. And he was talking about AI, and he talked about partnering with it. And that kind of just fell into place for me. And I had started training my one AI coach, and then I decided to do the other. And what I've done is, the first one was aimed at democratizing coaching. So aiming at coaching those people in organizations that would normally not get a look in. And then the other one is a leadership coach. And I decided also, I was wondering about the pricing of it. And one day, I try and walk most mornings, but I don't do that often. I'd hate you to get the wrong idea. But this one morning I went for a walk, and it just struck me, if I'm going to want to democratize coaching, I have to make it a no-brainer for organizations to employ my AI coach. And so I think the price is about $5.50 per month, if I convert it. And so I think, you know, so it's early days. I've tested it with people. A lot of people are now wanting to test it. They're into a 7-day trial. But in the end, my aim is to make my vision statement is, for those of you who don't know, I'm a South African, so I live in Africa. And my vision is to make the world of difference in Africa by transforming the lives and careers of people and organizations throughout Africa. And yeah, that's exciting. Yeah, very exciting.
Great. And I can see also that how excited you are, in the way you speak. And this is a PCC coaching stuff, not MCC. Okay. So there was a question on the chat. How was it when you tested it? How was it?
How what, sorry?
How was it? How was when you tested the AI bot? How was the testing?
Yeah, it was people were excited about it and responded. Yeah, I got really good feedback. I obviously tested them as well. And the leadership development AI coach came out second, so there's been less testing on that. But I was really excited with that and the distinction between what he could do compared to the other one, because I trained them slightly differently. Well, in fact, quite a big difference. And I was really excited about what came out. So there are a couple of things that I'll have to keep fine tuning with. Things like sometimes they don't know when to stop. They don't pick up the nuances. When a client starts shortening their answers to one-word answers, then we would pick up that they're wanting to go now, if that happened to us. But yeah, the bots just keep asking questions. So yeah, so I'm finding a way to sort that out. That's the main one. Yeah. But the beauty of it is that, unlike us human coaches, they're available 24/7, and we can do it at prices that people can pay.
Okay, so thank you for sharing that honestly. That things that worked and things that still under testing. So thank you for sharing that. And going to Jihane. So your PhD explores AI in education, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So what's one way that coaches can use AI to deepen human connection? And please share.
Well, my research is more technical, so it's in higher education, how the competencies of in higher education are impacted with the AI. But about the coaching, as I told you, I had yesterday webinar for Tunisia chapter, and it was how can coaches use the AI to improve their business, and also how to deal with the ethical part. And it's I think now we are between two generations, the generation like the 40 and above, who has some relationship with the AI and the technology, and the others, the new generation who are more involved, and maybe they prefer. I think Lauron is an exceptional example of the tech adopter. But in my point of view, we can, as a coaches, use the AI as an ally, and mainly we do have all the administrative work that could be enhanced, and we can use. It's not luxury now, but it's kind of very useful, like the tools that can help us to use data-driven client. And we know it's the big applications like Better App or the Coach Hub, or who are like they provide real-time analysis about the different patterns, even the emotional states, and they have a good insights. So these are AI-generated reports that reveal all the fluctuations in the client's stress level, and we do have nice insight. We have Ovida today that plays a role of mentor coach, and we can have an advanced feedback from the application on all the sessions, even about the emotions and how much the coach speaks and versus the client. The AI also helps to have the scalability and the impact measurement that when you have some platforms like Simply Coach, or they have and they are built with a data-driven approach that not only qualifies the impact of coaching, but also provide the clients tangible progress metrics. This is enhanced. This kind of reports and metrics really enhance the quality of the professional. You have all the automation of administrative tasks, starting from Calendly to CRM, and the training and upskilling. The AI now, I think the main topic is the ethical consideration and the data privacy. It's yeah, of course, the AI offers powerful insights, but it also raises ethical questions when regarding data privacy and, of course, the potential biases of the algorithm. We can see that it's biased by from where the information is coming, and also it's also when the machine doesn't have answers, it could hallucinate. And to what extent we as a professional are equipped and trained to understand, analyze the results that we are having from the machine. So now the machine is like learning, is being trained. How we can then train ourselves to better understand the client, to have this ability to work with more quality client, but also while maintaining the quality. So this is the question for the time being, but it's definitely the time to take the most of the AI and to train ourselves in order to grow and to keep our humanity, because this is the key differentiating point now. This is the humanity, the link, the relationship that we can have and build with the client, that for the time being, the machine, the bots could not do as we can as a human being.
I like when you said keeping the humanity, because sometimes I think we might tend to depend on AI or any technological stuff or technical stuff, and then forget that we are humans, and communicating on the human level is very, very important, even if we have some supportive tools that can support the coaching process. So thank you, Jihane, for sharing that. And then Lola, of course, since we're talking about AI and the ethical use of AI, and you love to talk about ethics. So tell us more about the update in the Code of Ethics and what's there for AI and anything else that you find important for a coach. Your mic is muted, and I am sure that you're saying wonderful things.
Yes, sorry about this. So I did work on the code review. I was one of the free co-leaders, but there were many people who actually worked on the code and on the I statements. So as you all know, Code of Ethics is evolving because it has to match the culture and how life evolves and people's behavior evolve as well. So when it comes to AI, ICF brought out a set of competencies for AI, but I come to the Code of Ethics. If you look at section 2.5 of a Code of Ethics, yes, I'm pretty sure in section 2.5, there was standard 2.5, there were two new standards, 2.5 and 3.7. 2.5 states very clearly that if a coach is to deliver their duties using any technology systems, platforms, apps, working on platforms, it is still incumbent upon them to ensure that the coachee is being protected and that the code of ethics still applies. So it basically means a lot of people are using, we've used Zoom. So it basically means that we have to do our due diligence before we propose any app or any platform to our clients. That's one. Two, if we are going, like in the US, where I am, I've learned that a lot of coaches work on platforms. What we ask is that they do their due diligence and they do ask the platforms, how is confidentiality handled? Are there any recording of sessions? What happens to this recording? Is the client aware that the sessions are being recorded? Because else that would be a breach of ethics, right? And you know what? You wouldn't be surprised. How does AI coaching, Lauron spoke about it, and he said, it's me, because it was his sessions. How does an AI coach come about? It's for recording of sessions, right? But there has to also be the consent of coachee and coach at the same time. And that's why Jihane said so rightly that AI coach will also import some of the biases, not only in the algorithm, but only into how the coach speaks. And therefore, if we look at 2.5, it doesn't go so much into algorithm, but it goes more into what are the systems that we use. Basically, it's like, it's still incumbent upon the coach. It's for the coach to find out, is the app that I'm proposing or the platform that I'm going to use, does it anyway conflict with the code of ethics? And if it does conflict with the code of ethics, it is a risk to the coach who promotes himself, who publicly on his LinkedIn describes themselves as an ICF professional. So what the coach has to do is to do their due diligence, ask the question, look at the contracting between the AI, the platform, and the clients, look at their own terms of contract with the platform. This is what 2.5 basically tells us. It is still incumbent upon us because there it's not about the AI coach. And by the way, AI coach is not recognized as coaching by ICF at all. But it doesn't mean we cannot use it and include it in order to help us, because we should, if it's for the benefit of a client, because we all know whatever we do is the main question is, does it benefit the client? And of course, there has to be ethical boundaries around this as well. So it's incumbent upon us coaches. And if you look, I went to a really interesting training last time. For example, HIPAA compliant apps and platforms can be safely used. So HIPAA is mainly for counseling, but they absolutely guarantee the confidentiality. So there would be Calendly, DocuSign, Zoom, Anthropic Claude, Bitwarden, Practice Better, Coach, Accountable. All these are HIPAA compliant. So confidentiality is confirmed there. But at the end of the day, for us, anything that we use, we have to show that we did our due diligence. I hope I answered this question and I was clear.
Oh, yes, very, very clear. From my side,
Thank you.
yes, perfect. Yes, so yeah, it all goes to the due diligence, you know. This is the base. Are we doing what we need
Absolutely.
to do or not?
Yes, yes.
And yeah, and as humans, sometimes we need support. So I would like to ask Dr. Clare here. So how does mentoring and supervision support our humanity? You know, since everything is happening around us, very fast-paced world, and also AI is coming in. So how can mentoring and supervision support us as humans, coaches?
Great question. I presented yesterday actually for ICF Oman, I had to think where, because I was in 3 places, one after the other. And I presented on the way that partnering, be it in coaching, mentor coaching, or supervision, can enable us to grow together and support our world. And so for me, in mentor coaching, where we're working with someone, whether it is growing in terms of their competence for credentialing purposes, or of course, mentoring, just like people say, you know, a puppy's for life, not for Christmas. Mentor coaching, of course, is for life, not just for credentialing. And we deliver a mentor coaching certification to really grapple with the PCC markers, MCC bars, and the mentor coaching competencies. And on that program, it culminates in feedback on the mentor coaching to the mentor. And twice this year, there's been people who, for whatever reason, haven't been able to get clients to practice on. And so I've offered a session of mine. And so we sort of called it reverse mentor coaching, because 2 hats, delivering and also being mentored, but it was fantastic. And we did a lot of work together around partnering. And it was a beautiful experience, just the way we can get into bad habits, and also the way that we can discuss together different concepts, different competencies. And so I see it as moving our field forward. And also by having that, you know, mentor, traditionally older, wiser, of course, not necessarily age-wise, but someone there who's got your back and can challenge and support you, is such an important relationship. And for me, mentoring itself is underrated in our world. Of course, my philosophy is coach, 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 even as a leader. And if that's not quite working, then choose another option, mentoring being one of them. And then in terms of supervision, so the essence of supervision, be it the restorative element of feeling like you're going to a spa and, you know, washing away and being really fit for purpose for our clients. And then the resourcing, be it models, tools, techniques, approaches, even the business side of coaching. And then the more formative, the benchmarking and ethical side. But all of this in supervision, be it one-on-one or groups of different or same abilities levels, different experiences, internal, external coaches. That whole field for me is about, you could call it transpersonal. What way do we need to show up? And where do we need to focus to serve our children's children, the future of our world and humanity? And so front and center for me is that partnering and the work that we do. And interestingly, we say the new competencies. It was 2021, wasn't it? The most recent competencies mention partnering 1 million times. And I'm exaggerating there just because I feel it's so important. I was recently invited to be on the advisory board for where are we going next in ICF, in mental coaching and supervision. So I'm also there with a 1 million thoughts and a watch this space. And if I had a magic wand, credentialing for mental coaches and supervisors, because we need it at an even higher quality. And we need supervision for leaders. not just for coaches or mentor coaches. And I feel that that work can be the glue that holds it all together for us, our clients, and the systems that we all live and work in.
Yeah. You know, as a coach myself, I'm very grateful for having such things available for us, like supervision and mentoring whenever you need them, because you're not alone in this profession. And sometimes it can become lonely. So having someone there to support you and, you know, and they are also in the same profession, but they can support you differently, that's really, really assuring. Don't you think?
Spot on. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. And going back to Lynn, since now let's go into a coaching session, for example, and the word presence comes to me when I see Lynn, you know. So how can a coach, you know, keep his own presence in a coaching session? And what does presence really mean?
Yeah, such a great question. Thank you, Rasha. I'm really resonating with so much with what Dr. Clare you've just shared. And I go back to this word partnering also. It's been mentioned dozens of times in all the competencies, it's true. And I think when, and I'm also looking through the lens right now in a mentor relationship with a coachee, a coach client, you know, this idea of partnering, I think, is about helping the coach partner with themselves. I'm often saying to my students in courses I'm teaching, rapport begins with rapport with yourself before you can have rapport with your client. And so that means we've got to be doing our own inner work. So, you know, we can take the widest lens there and talk about, so how's your nutrition, and are you getting enough sleep and drinking enough water and taking care of your body, right? And how is your mental health? Are you taking care of your mental health? What's going on in your life? Are there, you know, it's inevitable. Humans go through highs and lows in life. Are you getting counseling when you need it? You know, how is your mental, your mind, body, heart, and spirit is the lens I'm looking through, right? And so we look at this self-care as an investment in our capacity to be fully present and to hold space for another human being as they're doing their work. So we need to learn how to partner with ourselves and to befriend ourselves. And I think that draws on the whole concept of exercising self-compassion and, you know, points back to, you know, what we've been saying so far about humanity, that, you know, there's no such thing as perfect coaching. You know, we're often saying to the students, you know, as they're learning humanistic principles, like people are okay and they're resourceful and they're capable and they're making the best choice possible. And I say, you know, the client is okay. The coach is okay too. Wherever you're at in your learning journey is okay. The most important thing you can do is cultivate presence for here and now in this moment. And what is wanting to unfold in this moment? I think that helps coaches cultivate their capacity for presence, and so there's all this inner work to be done among us. But you know, ultimately, it's two humans coming together, one with a set of tools and frameworks in service of the other person's growth. But we never claim to be the expert on other people's life. We help them understand they're the expert on their own life and their journey and their career development and their however they want their life to unfold. So we're more like companions on the quest. And I think that's a really important part of presence as well. So much to say about this, but I better stop here.
It's never, you know, it's never easy to talk when someone's talking about themselves, you know, understanding that I need to support myself as I support others. And as we always say, you know, you need to put the oxygen mask on yourself first before putting it on others.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so thank you for sharing this wonderful moment of presence. being in the here and now for me, for us. And that would bring me to the biggest reflective question that I would like to hear your response to. In 1 minute, if it's possible, if I were to ask you, and this is a free form, anyone can jump in. If you were to look back at the person who just started coaching, at you who just started coaching, what would you tell that person at that moment that you know now? Feel free to jump in, whoever is ready to answer. Yes, please.
I'll go. I think it's a really great question. I've never really asked myself this. I think what I would say to myself would be, coaching is going to lower and break so many barriers for you. It's going to lower so many barriers, because I think the whole magic of coaching is seeing others as deeply human and equal, seeing past the differences, the superficial differences of culture, of race, of resources, but seeing people as deeply human. And this does break barriers.
And this does break barriers. Okay, thank you. Who would like to go next?
I'll go next then. So
Okay.
Zubda, in a nutshell, loosen up. Be creative. Be authentic. Make mistakes. Have fun. And just let it go over your shoulders if it doesn't land.
In short, be human. Yes, and accept that.
It's role
Thank
modeling
you.
as well.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Claire. Thank you. Who's gonna go next? Oh, Lynn, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm thinking about how important it is, again, the whole concept of self-compassion, to forgive ourselves for when things went sideways, when we made big mistakes. So make those mistakes and also learn how to forgive ourselves. And I think for me, when I look back, a real game changer is when I started developing a self-forgiveness ritual. And it started with, I got an idea from somebody in a workshop. You know how we do our laundry to clean our clothes? We shower to clean our bodies. I thought, we need emotional laundry too. So every time I step in the shower now, I say, I forgive myself. I forgive others for everything that, I may or may not have done. And that process has helped me develop my own self-compassion over the years and forgive myself for some, real faceplant mistakes that, the ouches of life that come back to us in recurring patterns. So any kind of self-forgiveness process, I think a person can develop because mistakes are inevitable and they're such an important part of our learning journey. It's really how we often have big breakthroughs through mistakes. So that's what I would add, self-forgiveness process.
That forgiveness process. Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. So who would like to go next? Lola, Jihane, Lauron? Oh, Lola, you did it already. So Jihane, Lauron?
Yeah, I can. Keep dreaming and allow yourself to have a vision and believe in it. When I started this journey, I never thought that I would be here now, but it was like full of faith and hope, and I really was enjoying it. It's not loneliness, but it's being with self and being kind with self also, and the journey is so rich, full of meeting people so diverse and so energetic. It's not it's not highway, but it's like in nature, it's climbing mountains, and it's also like but it's enjoyable. It's enjoyable. It was enjoyable and so rich, really so rich.
Thank you. So keep dreaming and be kind to yourself. It's a rich experience. Enjoy it. Yeah, thank you. So, Lauren, what would you like to share with us?
I suppose I'm not going to get away with all of the above, but it's all really interesting. And yeah, for those of you who are familiar with the Enneagram, I'm a 5. And so I'm forever wanting to get knowledge and that kind of thing. And so over the last 23, 24 years that I've been coaching, that's tended to complicate things at times. You get knowledge, but then you have to apply it. And so I think there are 2 shortcuts, which aren't really shortcuts because you can't shortcut these things. The first is that I would have liked to have known the distinction between vertical development and horizontal development, because if I'd known that, I would have asked myself the question, who's the person, the coach, the leader I want to be far more often. And I think that would have given me greater personal development, if you like. I would have got closer to my higher self, hopefully sooner. The other one is really a take from Michael Neal. Some of you might be aware of him. So when I was learning everything, I would then try and apply something in my coaching sessions, and those were terrible coaching sessions because I was too much in my head. And what he talks about is a 2-step process. He says, show up fully and respond to what shows up. And every time I've done that, I've done my best coaching. The second one takes some trusting, because you're trusting that the stuff that you've learned will come back to you when it's required, and it does. But if you haven't heard of Michael Neal, look him up sometime. I think he's one of the international coaches that's worth following for a while. So those are the 2 things.
I love the trust part. Trust yourself, and it will come to you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I really enjoyed the reflective part, and I hope you enjoyed it too, So now it's going to be over to the audience. The mic will be over to you, audience. Whatever you want to ask now, we have like 18 minutes in the webinar. If you would like to ask anything to any one of our panelists, please raise your hand and go ahead. Or if you would like to put that in the chat, that's okay too. Any burning questions? So there's a question in the chat. And please identify which question, who's going to answer this question. Did you experience self-doubt or imposter syndrome during your journey, and how did you work through it? So would you like anyone to answer? Oh, please go ahead.
I'm making up we all did because I saw nods. Biggest one for me was, okay, so coaching at this level, and because I came from, teaching and lecturing, more people in the room, I'm fine with group coaching, I'm fine with team coaching. And then the first executive coaching engagement, that's when imposter syndrome kicked in for me. And then when you realize that I'm coaching a human being, and you realize that so many people have the same topics, be it work-life balance or where to go next in their life, that just reassures you. However, supervision around that type of thing, invaluable, because then we can ditch that stuff, work through it, and be where we need to be with the client.
Absolutely.
Great.
I'd like to add
Yes,
something
sure.
on, I think imposter syndrome is part of a human condition, unless sometimes, you know, when people are a bit narcissistic, then they don't have self-doubt, and this is not really a good thing. So I think imposter syndrome is also a sign which is telling us that we are progressing, we are taking up challenges which are a little bit more than just improvement. It's a stretch for us. And we always have to stretch in order to grow. And sometimes, of course, the results aren't that great. Every time we do something new, I mean, I'm 57 today, and every time I do something new and I'm talking to people or a group, it's still the same feeling. What are you doing, Lola? What are you doing? And I always say, well, you're stretching yourself out of your comfort zone, and therefore it's telling you uncomfortable. And I think what's very important with imposter syndrome is also to be realistic, to look at yourself and say, can I do that? Whose help do I need for this? Who are the supporters who I need to boost my spirit? And then to go for it. But to have imposter syndrome, think about your clients. Most of our clients have imposter syndrome. They're just like us.
Yes, it's always us, you know. Yes.
Mhm.
And I like it. If you're succeeding, then you'll start to feel the imposter syndrome. That's when you know that
Absolutely.
you are growing.
Absolutely. Quest for growth.
Yeah. And there's another question in the chat. How long did it take to reach to MCC? And what would you suggest today to younger you if you were just in the beginning of your journey as a coach? Who would like to get that?
Can go. Took me, I
Yeah,
think,
sure. Of course.
more than 10 years. More than 10 years. When I started, my first training was not accredited, ICF accredited. I came from another background, another world. And after 5 years, I discovered that, okay, there is something that ICF accredited training. So I have to restart everything. So it really took time. And again, when I had my PCC, and I started preparing for the MCC, it was in English and later in French and later on in Arabic. And I spent, and I have my business. And it was, I told myself, do I really need the MCC? Is it for me, for my career, or for the market? So I had a lot of questioning, and yeah, it took a while, and I postponed everything, and like I was like clear in my head. And yeah, I got it when I submit. I remember when I submit my audio, it was without sharing them with my mentor, because I was sure. I told him, listen, I had 4 mentors, by the way. 4 mentors. I was sure I spent enough years, enough time on these things, so now I'm confident. Halas. Yeah. Because
Oh, mashallah.
it
I'm
was
just saying,
why.
mashallah, for mentors.
Yeah, it was the why behind the MCC, I think, that I want to share with the audience. I know there is, this is my feeling, in some region we can have this sense of kind of, okay, we need to be in this level to have maybe, I don't know, position, notoriety, or business. That was my feeling when I came to the region, honestly. And maybe, yeah, and the client, they are asking for the MCC level, and I really questioned myself, because when I came, I was already MCC, and do I need it for me, for the client, for the business? And that was the shifting moment. And I hold on everything. And I said, no, 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 no. This is not me. I'm not using it as a job. This is me. I'm a coach. Because it's not like hat. No, it's me. It's my identity. So I worked a lot. So a lot of work before, deciding and doing the last steps. And I think step was 6 months, 1 year. These are or was the steps that I had. So, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Lauren, please go ahead.
Yeah, I think for me, the question is slightly different. It's not how long does one take to become an MCC. It's how long does one take, how long does one take to become a good MCC? And it's a question of, it's not a question of tick boxing and getting there as quickly as possible. I think it's about personal and coaching maturity that you want to achieve. And just because you have an MCC doesn't mean to say you tick that box.
Yeah, and that's important in distinction between becoming an MCC and just getting the MCC. And sometimes you can become an MCC. Of course, it's not me yet, but I believe that you become an MCC before getting your MCC. And that's a true MCC. Oh, that's great. Thank you. There's another question in the chat is, what are your advice on the limiting belief of the ROI in old age? So who would like to take that? And Ibrahim, if you would like to explain a little bit, or is this clear question?
It's
Yeah.
not to me. Oh, return on investment and old age, because I'm always worried when I see return on investment and coaching. So, Ibrahim, would you like to clear this up? What exactly? I mean, I
Yeah.
didn't get the question. Can someone help me on this?
Yes, Ibrahim, I think, please open the mic and share, Ibrahim.
Yeah, hi everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you. See, I started my journey as a coach after retirement. So with the salary of of the retirement, I wanted to just save as much as I can. Whereas to reach the BCC, I spent more than 60, $60, 60,000 reals in these courses, going to the courses and going, and it's really challenging to get to get clients with so that's my limiting belief that if I just keep spending on mentoring, supervision, and stuff like that, is there a way to get the this spending, back? I'm having this. I don't know if I call it saboteurs, I call it whatever voices that I have in my head that always pop up whenever I wanted to spend something, on developing myself.
I think there's a big thing you've touched on there as well, Ibrahim, in terms of coach training programs are about skills, knowledge, and behavioral competencies for coaching. Some we include, for example, things like pricing, pitching, promoting, how to work with procurement in organizations, etc. Not all of them do. Whether they should or not is an entirely different question. So one thing that I found really useful was, especially early on, outsourcing to experts, whether it be marketing or other areas. And the other thing, going back to partnership, we work, even some faces here, we work with so many people globally, different organizations, even different providers, be it of coaching or coach education. And that collaboration means that it's a win-win-win. We all win together. And so I think that when you reach out to others, and if we're too busy with work, we pass it on to someone that we trust, and the other way round, that network has been invaluable.
That's right, Ibrahim, that's really my own opinion. And I know what you're speaking about. You're speaking about the financial investment and the return. My own way of looking at it, and I know it is onerous, and my way of looking at it is it's about a self-investment. You're really investing in your own learning. You're really investing in stretching yourself out. You're investing in your health as well, because when we start learning something and the older we get, we actually improve our brain, and our brain capacity and our health is to look at it as a self-investment. When it comes to ROI and coaching, I honestly cannot give you any advice. I think it's about investing in the power of connection, investing in how much you are interested in others and how much you want others to succeed. And then the rest comes along. That's the way I see it. But certainly it's about looking at your market as well. I've never marketed myself, but I've come to America, and I know that here with the number of coaches, I've still not marketed myself. It's been 2 years. The time may come when I'll need to do that. So it's also just like what we do in coaching. We look at the needs of the environment and the dynamic with the person. It's important to look at this as well.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Lauren, do you want to share something? I see you're, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that it depends. It depends on why you're coaching. If it's really what you do, if it's part of your purpose, then I think the ROI is not. It's fine. Whatever it costs, then it's worthwhile. If you're in coaching to develop yourself, as Lola said, then it's not too expensive. But if it's something to augment your retirement funding, then that's something different. Coaching's not an easy game. It's not an easy business to run. Yeah, so that's a question only you can answer.
Okay. And there's also a question. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Lynn.
So sorry, I realize time is of the essence. A one-liner here, just piggybacking on Lauren, what you've said. I'm thinking about the ROI includes the personal enrichment you are receiving or will receive through your investments in that, and your investment in your own sense of legacy. You know, as we move through the life cycle, our sense of importance of legacy gets louder. And it's like, what is the mark I want to leave behind, right? So I think engaging in this work is a beautiful way to understand that and to, find our own answers. Yeah, that's all.
Yes, it's all about finding your own answers. And that's what coaching all about. Finding your own answers, yes. So we have a last, we'll take one last question from the chat, which is, one is for Lauren. As heard from Lauren around an MCC versus a good MCC. So what has specifically changed for you as you moved to MCC? And how did that manifest in your coaching?
I'm going to try and make this quick, but it's a long story. Like so many people, I failed my MCC first time round, and so then you get 6 months to submit your next recordings. And I lost track of time, and I knew I had some recordings, but I didn't like them, and I knew exactly what was wrong with them. And then I always thought I had time for more recordings, and then I looked to see what my timing was, and I had to submit by the following week, which I couldn't do. So I submitted those recordings that I knew I thought wouldn't get me through again. And I got through, and the comments that the assessors made were exactly the ones that I had known. But anyway, that's not the point. So I then set out for the next year. I decided I don't deserve this MCC, maybe imposter syndrome hit me. I don't deserve this MCC, but in a year's time, I am going to deserve it. And so I worked really hard for that year. I mean, I continue to work hard, but it's a development thing. It's an ongoing developmental thing. It's once again, it's not just the horizontal skills that you need to be applying. It's far more than that. It's the vertical stuff that needs to come in as well. I hope that's a quick answer.
Thank you, Lauren, for sharing that. So, and on behalf of everyone, on behalf of myself, I really, really enjoyed the panel discussion today. So thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Lola. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Jihane. And thank you, Dr. Clare. You know, what a privilege is it to hear from such accomplished coaches. And remember, coaching is a journey of continuous learning, courage, and heart. So thank you for joining us tonight. And we are looking forward to seeing you at future events. So good night and happy coaching. Thank you so much.
Rasha. Thank you,
Shukran
everyone.
jazilan.
Thank
Rasha,
you.
you've done an amazing job.
Yeah,
Really well
thank you,
done.
Thank you.
Rasha.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.